Domo arigato.
So, interject at any time that you guys have any questions. I figure we'll have Jay give a brief bio on how he started playing drums and kind of his career getting into music. Is that cool?
Yeah, so I began playing drums when I was about 14 years old. Kind of late for a drummer, I suppose. I know people who start at like 2 years old, but I started when I was about 14 years old, much like you guys in here. Who's a drummer? Who plays drums? Okay, all right, very cool. So, and just loved music, loved heavy metal, loved punk rock, loved hardcore music, music of all kinds. And yeah, through playing with a lot of different people, you know, touring the world, playing music, you know, I met the guys in the band Slipknot when I was about 10 years old, before I started playing drums. And about 13 years after that, they asked me to join their band. I said yes, and this has brought me here today to play with you friendly people. So that's a little history of me. I met my friend Mike here from SJC Custom Drums in 2010, almost 10 years ago, and started playing on drum sets just like this. And he and I have done a lot of creative stuff together over the years, and it's just been pushed into hyperdrive with all the Slipknot stuff going on. Now we're 2 records with Slipknot, 0.5 The Great Chapter, and We Are Not Your Kind. And we've done a lot of cool stuff and been able to bring events like this to you guys. So we're here because of SJC Custom Drums. We're here because of Vans Shoes. We're here because of the band Slipknot. And yeah, it's wonderful to play for all of you today. Yeah, so Mike, do you have any questions for me? Does anybody here have questions? Or
I would say, number 1 record. Congratulations.
Number 1.
You want to talk about recording that, writing that? How crazy was it? You know, how in depth did you go with the drum parts? You know, did you not sleep for
a long time? About 3 years. Yeah. So writing "We Are Not Your Kind," our new album, took about 3 years. Our last show for 0.5 The Great Chapter was actually in Tokyo for Knotfest Japan 3 years ago. 2016 Knotfest Japan was our last show. And we began writing "We Are Not Your Kind" right after that show. It took a long time, writing, rewriting, listening back to stuff. Jim Root, Sean Cran, and I would get together for about 3 or 4 weeks, and we would write. And then we would go home for like 3 months, not even call each other on the phone, and we would just listen to the music we were writing. And we would want to make it better. We would listen to it, get away from the studio, and come back a couple months later with some like fresh ears, a new perspective on what we were writing. So we would keep writing, keep listening, and we did that for about 3 years. Until January of this year, we entered the studio and recorded the songs, played them together as a band. And that was really special for us because we didn't get that opportunity for 0.5 The Great Chapter. We had so much time to write our new songs and make them really what we wanted them to be. And it took a lot of writing, rewriting. We were very collaborative with our producer, Greg Fiddleman, for these 3 years. And things changed even when we recorded the songs. But it took us so long to write them, to make them really what we were proud of. And I believe we made 14 songs that we're really, really happy with. So now we put out this album, We Are Not Your Kind, and we immediately started going on tour. And we've played a lot in Europe and North America, and we actually just announced Knotfest Japan dates in March. So we'll be coming back to Tokyo finally. We love so much playing in Tokyo. And yeah, so it's a very exciting time for Slipknot right now. We're very excited about our current music, about our new music, and it feels really invigorating and inspiring to be on stage. It always has, but now it feels really good to be back. Yeah. Well, about Vans or SJC, like.
Yeah, I just want to say, there's a lot of drummers in here, a lot of musicians. I encourage you to follow your dreams and be motivated and inspired to have a career in music. Myself and Jay are living proof of that. When I first met Jay, I remember so vividly seeing a photo of him as a young kid looking up to Jim Root from Slipknot, and now he's the drummer of Slipknot. So being friends with him and like seeing his career and being so close to it, it's doable. Like you may see people in the music industry and think that you can't do it or it's a far-fetched dream, but it is very possible. Jay and I are both literally living proof, and the fact that we're here together, like Jay said, we've worked together for a long time. You just have to find like-minded people that you can collaborate with and share a similar dream and vision and just make it happen. Work your ass off and make it happen. Jay's been on tour for how many years have besides writing the record, how many years have you been on tour just straight?
Pretty much almost like 15 years. Wait, no, since like 2009. About 10 years now.
Yeah, so just work hard and it's doable. Thank you, Musicians Institute, for having us, and you going here is a great step to meeting those people to collaborate. And I'll stop there actually. Thank you,
Yeah, always follow your dreams and do stuff with your best friends. That's really that's why we're here. Mike is one of my best friends, and we both have dreams and things that we always want to do. We want to push ourselves to do more things bigger than what we can both accomplish on our own. So it's always important. Anybody in here, if you have a dream, follow it as far as you can. Because all of your dreams can come true. That's for real. That's the real truth. Do you guys have any questions?
何か質問がある方、ぜひ何でも大丈夫ですよ。演奏のこと。
Raise your hand. Okay. Yeah.
日本語でいいんですか？
頑張ります。
自分ドラムやってるんですけど、出音？生の音が聞きたいです。
So he want to hear your actual sound without the microphone.
Oh, okay. My sound without the microphone? Yeah, sure.
Do you want to just hit it?
No, by Jay will.
Okay, sure.
Mic カットできます。
So like the actual sonics of how I tune my drums?
何を演奏してほしいですか？グルーヴだったり、曲だったり。
じゃあキャスター。スリップノットのキャスター。
You can play the caster? The Slipknot song?
Oh! We have that.
毎日やってる練習メニューってありますか？
Do you have a practice menu that you do every day?
Practice that I do every day. Yeah. Good question. I really just kind of do now that we're on tour with Slipknot so much, I kind of have like my warm up that I do every day, and a lot of that has to do with just like warming up my feet, warming up my hands, making sure that they're both in coordination with each other. So exercises that I'll do, very very simple. So just like very simple. up my limbs. A lot of beat stuff. Just, again, simple. Yeah, warm up my hands, same thing. So really, a lot of my practice these days has to do with just like warming up to play a show, because that's kind of, I mean, I've been on tour for like the last 4 months, so a lot of that has to do with just getting my body limber, working on making sure my feet are in coordination with each other, my hands are in coordination with each other, that my blood is going, and that's really kind of like my practice regimen. I play a lot of songs too to warm up. That's kind of what I do. I'll play a lot along to all of our songs. Start from the easy ones that are kind of muscle memory, and then work my way up to like hard songs like Orphan and stuff like that. So a lot of it is a lot of just like articulation stuff. So yeah, if you can only, you know, if you're doing like a blast beat with 1 foot, and you want to just start and make sure it's all even. Always stay, like, don't, what I recommend is not speeding up, and just stay at one tempo that's comfortable for you to stay at. And then incrementally, stop playing that tempo, and then bump it up a little bit more. So. Maintaining one tempo, and then when you feel comfortable, when you feel like you can master that tempo, play faster. And then if you're comfortable playing it with 1 foot, play with 2 feet. Again, slow tempo. Double bass. So, slow. So to me, the most important thing is like articulation, keeping it steady at one tempo, because you don't want to have, unless it's a dynamic in the music, in the song that you're playing. To me, it's always been very important to have a good meter, because I'm playing with a bunch of other musicians, and our favorite thing is when we're a tight band, that we all want to play together, and we can only play together when our tempos are in sync. So it's very important to play along to a metronome. That's what I did when I first started playing drums. Play along with a metronome, practice, make sure my time is very even, and then everything else kind of starts to fall into place. Yeah, and it's not, there's no cheat code that I can give you that's going to make you, lock into a certain tempo. It's just every day try to push yourself a little bit more. And if you can't get to a certain tempo one day, that's okay. It's not really about that. It's about expressing yourself the best way through the drums, and to me, I express myself the best through the drums when I'm playing with my bandmates, and we all feel like we're a tight, cohesive unit. So for me, that means playing to a good meter, a good tempo, and everything else kind of falls in line after that. Any other questions?
他に質問ある方。
激しい曲ばっか叩いてるじゃないですか。スティックとかの重さってどんな感じですか？
So I use a Vader Universal model. Here,
ベイターのユニバーサルモデルというスティックを使ってるそうです。あら、
here you can have that one.
あげるそうです。
Thank you. I don't have enough for everybody. I'm sorry, but he was on your
じゃあそのみんなにはないけど、彼がちょっとね、一番最初に言ったから彼にはあげるけど、ごめんねってことで。
Sorry. So I like a stick. The universal feels good in my hand. It's kind of, it has a little bit of weight to it, because heavy metal to me has got to be loud and it's got to have weight behind it. But it also has a certain quickness. I like the barrel tip on the end here. I find that gives me a lot of definition when I'm playing on my ride. It's very pingy. It has a real nice articulation to it. It cuts through all my drums really nicely. But it's not too heavy that I can't do fast drum rolls with. So really, it kind of has a little bit of everything. I'm actually working with Vader right now to make a stick that's kind of a further honing in on my own vision for my own drumstick, to make it just a little bit more comfortable for my own hand. But for me, the Vader Universal, that's my favorite drumstick that's out there. Any others?
Thank you.
僕もドラムやっててスネアの音を一番気にしてるんですけど、その
He's a drummer too.
スネアで一番重きを置いてるというか。
Yeah, really good question.
いい質問だね。
So, I think after we're done here, maybe if people can check out the snare, the actual snare. So after, no, we can't give you a snare, but
これの後にスネア実際に叩かせてくれるそうです。
after the clinic, you can come up and you can see. So
あげないけどね。
Mike and I, we were talking about what kind of snare drum would get the best kind of sound that I was looking for. We had done, I used an acrylic snare for a little bit, that was kind of close. What else did I use? Some metal snares maybe. But for me, what I really was going after were, there were drummers in the early 2000s, drummers I looked up to like Travis Barker, Adrian Young, John Otto and stuff, who were known for having these really thick, I always saw their snare drums because they had holes in them, they had the vents, and I would see that they had like really big chunks of wood, and I told Mike, I was like, what if we did something like that, because it had a very distinct sound from the early 2000s, in punk and metal and hardcore and stuff. So Mike made me a drum, which is the same drum we have here, 48 ply, 48. Of maple wood. It's so thick and it weighs it's really heavy. So that is how I get that real, that tight, really loud, tight, high tune. It's so tightly tuned too, we really crank it, and to me I get a lot of pop and a lot of response, so I don't have to really dig in too hard to get that articulation. A lot of that has to do with the plies, the amount of wood. I mean, it's basically like a wood block. So that's a lot for you to translate, Masa.
The cool thing about that snare too, Jay plays a lot of ghost notes and plays very fast. So playing a 2-hour show, his arms and his hands and his wrists could get tired. So he doesn't have to hit and dig in as hard on that snare drum. It really articulates the ghost notes. Another cool thing about his new kit we just built, we shortened the length of the kick drums so that he gets a lot more punch from the kick drums. A similar kind of thing to that snare drum. It's just super thick, and the guys love building them because it takes them forever to build that thing. And I flew with that from Boston, and my suitcase blew up because it was so heavy. So they're rad. Jay's actually one of the only ones using that snare drum nowadays, because we were both fans of that sound from the early 2000s, like he said, and now Jay's kind of carrying the torch with the 48 ply, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, and so after the clinic, you can come and pick it up yourself to see what my snare drum is.
演奏していって。
Anybody else?
他にクエスチョンある方。
You.
今注目してる若手のアーティストとかっていますかね？
Oh yeah, absolutely. Younger artists, younger drummers. Marin Alford actually is one really awesome drummer from the United States who I met through SJC. She's an SJC drummer, and so she's about 15, 16 years old. Very inspiring to see her trajectory. Marin Alford for sure. I'm very inspired by a lot of my friends too, like people who I've been fortunate enough to meet that I was a fan of their music, and through being in bands I've gotten to meet these drummers and stuff. Drummers that come to mind are like Ben Kohler from Converge. He's not younger obviously, but a lot of drummers that speak to me are drummers who find their own sound. Really, Daniel Fang from Turnstile is he's a good friend of mine, and he's a drummer that I find inspirational. Jason Rader from Neurosis. Let's see, who else?
Tell them they can check out Marin Alford. She just did a cover
Yeah.
of a Slipknot song.
Unsainted, yeah. Sure. Anybody else?
他に
Right? Yeah, you?
すみません、私もドラムやってるんですけど、グルーブについてどうやって考えてるか聞いてみたい。
Okay, groove like playing beats.
Yeah.
Okay, my approach to groove is, man, that's a really good question, because it's all about, for me, it's about like the rest of the band and how we're falling into a groove. So, what's a good groove? Take like a song like Duality. Here. So, go ahead. There's a lot of ghost notes in that, so with groove, like, to me it's more so the space between the actual notes that really counts. It's a lot of what you're not playing instead of what you are. So I really focus on like breaking down a beat and what's behind it. It's a really cool groove. If you simplify it and you add even more space, it's a lot of finding like the really expressive things that you can do with the space between the beat, because really it's really it's not so much like showing off as how fast you can blast beat. Like groove is not groove is about swing and feeling it, letting it breathe, have it be organic. So you can play without groove, really like machine gun, or you can let it swing. So with a beat like Duality, it's really very expressive. Like, having your hi-hat hand be very steady. I mean, everything has to be very steady, but when you're playing groove, that's always there. That's keeping your meter. So to me, that's the most important thing. And then you let everything build and groove off of that. The last thing I'll say is that it's just very important to keep that meter, that tempo, and then everything builds off of that with the groove.
ありがとうございました。
I got them.
Hello, Mr. J.
Hello.
Could you tell us about your pedal settings and your foot technique?
Sure. So my pedals, it's funny because I get that question a lot. I'm not really a guy that like I'll finick with my pedals a lot. If it feels good to me, it feels good. Like I didn't even like mess with the settings of these before we play. It's just, they felt comfortable to me. I like them pretty tight, like the tension of it. I like it pretty, like really tight. Here it's actually not even that tight at all. But my technique has kind of changed over the years just because, we all evolve and stuff, but I used to really take my full leg, like my thigh, very old school drumming, and just do like all my thighs, just like, which you get a lot of power out of that, but with music like ours, you need a mixture of like power and speed. So now I use a little bit more of like my calf. I use a little bit more of like here, so it's more like my ankles and my thighs at the same time. So, and again, going from slow. That's more with my thigh going up and down, and then faster is more about like my ankle and my calf. So like.
When you guys, the Slipknot, make songs, and maybe you will start from this lyrics or guitar, and you make your drum to fit in bass, or make bass fit in your drums? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really good question. It comes from all different kinds of ways. A lot of the times, our guitar player Jim Root he'll write like an arrangement of several riffs, guitar riffs, in a row, and have kind of a vision for a song, and then we'll kind of pick apart what is, what direction we want to push that song in. And so a lot of the times he'll come up with, an arrangement. He'll kind of be jamming in his garage. He'll record it, and then we're like, oh, that's awesome. Let's play on that. And so we'll jam on it. A lot of this record, a lot of We Are Not Your Kind came from jamming. Like we would have an idea, a loose vision for what a song could be, and then we would jam on it. And then that could send a song in any, myriad of directions, because it's just all impulsive and in the moment. And we found that we really enjoy the spontaneity of working together in the studio and jamming out parts. Because then, Clown could do something on his stand-up percussion rig that'll inspire us to do something different. Or I'll do something different on my drum set that will make a song take any different turn or something. So, or Corey will have lyrics that are very inspirational that'll send Jim into writing a song a certain way, or Mick writing certain riffs certain ways. Sometimes Sid will come in with a DJ part that is inspiring to us, and we'll go on from that. Sometimes, Craig will come in with a sampled thing that he heard in a fucking parking garage or something like that. It's inspirational to us. So we take inspiration from everywhere. And there's no one way of writing a Slipknot song, but my favorite part of what we've done lately is working very collaboratively and writing as a unit, as a band, and through jamming a lot, because we'll find what we like in a certain riff, but it's very difficult and takes a lot of time to then construct around that a cohesive song. So the fact that we were able to have a kernel of an idea and then build on it for 3 years and until it is what it is now. A song like Nero Forte came from an idea from Clown, the middle drum part. And then we wanted to build around that. So, it didn't start with the beginning of the song, it started with the middle of the song. And then we figured out how to give that part of that song a home, So it takes all different ways, but it takes all the members of the band contributing on top of what the original idea was. Could be a guitar riff, could be a drum beat, could be a lyric, could be some sound we heard anywhere in the world. There's no one way that we write songs, but we know it's finished when everybody in the band is on it, and we enjoy it. As long as we enjoy it, there's no rhyme or reason to what we do. One more? One more? Alright. You.
スリップノットの曲で演奏しているライブ本番とかで演奏している時にどういうことを考えて演奏しているのかなって思いました。
Oh wow. Honestly, when I'm really connected to the music, I'm not thinking about anything at all. I'm completely lost. That's the honest truth. You know, when it's really good, when I'm feeling the most present in the music, and that's where I find, my connection to life and to my love for music and everything. That's when I really feel connected to the world is through playing that music. And it takes so much of my mental energy, so much of my physical energy that when I insert myself into that song, I just completely lose myself. So I don't think about anything. Actually, even sometimes the best times, I'm thinking about something that's completely detached from the music I'm playing because it's just coming through me. So I'm thinking about that park that I was walking through earlier today was beautiful, or that food I had earlier was so delicious. And that's what I'll think about when I'm really connected to what I'm doing. It just completely flows through me, and I don't think about it at all. When I think about it, then I start to mess up. If I think about the beats that I'm actually playing, the notes that I'm playing, I'll screw everything up. Awesome. Well, again, we want to thank you so much for coming. Domo arigato. Thank you to SJC Custom Drums, my best friend Mike. Thank you to Vans Shoes. Thank you to Musicians Institute for having us here. This is so wonderful to play for all of you. Thank you, Masa, for all your help. I'll play one more song here. So again, domo arigato. どうもありがとう、everybody.